we back. See? We back in the game. Come on. Thuggy Dubs in the place to be. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they had it cloudy for a little bit. Oh yeah, they had it cloudy. It was gonna be covered the whole day. I was all like, all right, my baby finna say something about these old false prophets, man, because it's some serious shit. And basically, you know, the false prophets, they stood in the way of your ass. Ascending spiritually. All of us, really. Go ahead and try that. Let's see. Oh yeah, buddy. Look up there, boy. Whoa. You can see the miles damn near up there. Beautiful. Now, them is real clouds. Them ain't no chemtrails up there. Beautiful. See how Mosai just cleared the whole sky? He must have felt this baby getting a little upset. Like, damn, you know, they covering the clouds, covering the sun up for forever, 300 days. Look at that, look at that. All clear now. Yeah, we gotta jump into it, man. We're gonna jump into it. Miraculous. Miraculous. Got my angels and my thugs all over here. Sun shining bright. Let's do the sun. Super bright. Oh yeah. UV rays, man. Like that. Why they just always warning us about UV rays and, you know, put sunblock on and stuff like that? What the hell? Oh, look at that sky. Boy, that sky looks beautiful. Look at that. It just cleared it out. Y'all seen how cloudy it was earlier? You seen it, man. Boy, it was super cloudy earlier. What? But yeah, we're talking about the whole little FARRAKHAN situation, man. So with FARRAKHAN, man. What's going on with FARRAKHAN, man? You know, we gotta be concerned, you know, motherfuckers concerned about us and the good, you know, not having knowledge of self and shit, you know what I mean? Because of these fibers. You know, done in blind search for knowledge of self. And, you know, so we gotta be concerned about FARRAKHAN. You know what I'm saying? Look how most of them cleared the sky up on it. Look at that. Cloudy as hell. Look at that there. I said, my baby feeling a little upset. Let me go ahead and clear this sky out for him. Let you know, man, it's on now. Blue everywhere now. Blue everywhere. It's blue everywhere. They went out. I had to go to the cut for a second. Cleared the whole sky out for a knock. Sun shining bright. You don't even know if there was clouds in the sky today or not. Chop it up about FARRAKHAN. He said, my baby gotta say something. What's up, Thuggy Dubs? Y'all chilling? Yeah, we finna build about FARRAKHAN, man, because that's a false prophet. We was concerned about him, you know, seeing what's going on, but it's like, yo, man, you know, we got a million niggas together, we gotta think about business. We couldn't do no businesses. We couldn't, when you get a million people together and nobody had a vision and mission statement, dealing with business now. You know what I'm saying? You got a million niggas. Out of a million, it's probably at least 1,000 entrepreneurs that were millionaires. You couldn't get 1,000 of them mugs to come together and get a food chain. You just talk all day on a loudspeaker. That's what I'm saying. You got to put some actions with your words. Now that's why celibacy season is the reason, man. We're calling it all out, you know. And as a matter of fact, yo, is that Third Eye Atlas? Is that, you know, is that the mothership? You know, they talk about a lot of things. Remember, false prophets know a lot of things too. And I'm not saying that he was ordained to be the false prophet. He just stepped into the game after a lot of turmoil went down. But I'm just saying, you know, they was already talking about these shams, according to Malachi York, NUWAPIANS. You know, they already know these things exist. Because there was a book called the Awaspi that was written prior to them even talking about such. Even prior to Farrah Muhammad's birth. The Awaspi was already written down. And it already told you that things is coming around in the time of light, which is the arc of Cosmon, or we could just say the time of Cosmon, which when man has become Yeah, so instead they just try to get a nigga, pardon me, y'all. They try to get him with a savior complex. Yeah, so instead they just try to get a nigga, pardon me, y'all. They try to get him with a savior complex. And when with the nation of gods on earth, we just took everything real. Save yourself. Make knowledge born so you can save yourself. If I see something about to go down to you, I see my brother, something about to happen, so I'm like, yo, what y'all got? I'm gonna make knowledge born. Why? Because I want to save myself. He is myself. And also I want to save myself the agony of seeing him going through hell if I didn't warn him. You know? And I seen it coming, and I had to just turn my head, or I just put the phone on or some shit. We had a point where we can't put the phone on no more, yo. Putting the phone on and recording something, and we're deep like that, shows and proves that we low in our light, man. And everybody's talking about this conceal and carry, or with carrying thing, whatever. Yeah, the war gonna pop off, and it seems like mothers don't want it to happen. But you know, when somebody's coming to your hood, if it's your neighborhood or whatever, and you know these individuals are innocent and they're really attacking individuals, you have a responsibility to protect these children, because they're really attacking children. Or if you're by yourself, but they're attacking teenagers or elderly. Some in the middle age, if they ain't got no protection, the homies around them and nothing like that. That's why when I was growing up, the gangs were like, we had to walk 4 deep. I'm talking about real gangs. It wasn't even gangs, it was nations. You had Vice Lords, CVLs, AVLs, Blackstones. They meant something at those times, you know? It wasn't about banging on somebody and shooting and killing and shit like that. This was about coming together. Like with the GDs, that was wisdom, knowledge, understanding, love, life, and loyalty, you know? You dealing with the 6-point star. It's a big science going on behind that. So it's about us bridging that together, even though there's a lot of Masonic teachings behind it, but there was a lot of ancient knowledge behind it as well, you know? And so when that came upon in the game, that's when they made, we got some things talking. When that came upon in the game, that just showed like, yo, we actually know the whole little situation of science with our, our proper pro se, as operating in the neighborhood is like, yo, I'm this. I'm not a black, I'm a Moor, or whatever. We came into that. We tried to do the best. I'm not saying that I'm like a straight up Moor coming from overseas and shit like that, but I'm just talking about like we wanted to establish ourselves in some form of, as having a right land and things of that nature. We went about it the way that we thought we could, but 100 years is up now. False prophets had their time. Now their shit's up. So what they did was it kept us looking to the sky. It kept us, in our savior complex instead of us being in our own self-savior power. Got a lot of energy. Got my thugs right here. Mother's coming through, so I got to look. So yeah, you know what I mean? So this is another reason why we got to give up their shit back to them, man, because it was more of a narcissistic plan in the first place, because they could have created more jobs, more wealth for the community. They could have established more hives. Instead of talking that shit, we could have been able to be like, yo, man, now the NOI, now you got a whole, you talking about having a little temple that we're renting out in ancient Tatari buildings or whatever, old warehouse buildings that we're renting out for pennies, and you know what I'm saying, we barely can go to work and support our family, you know? Instead of doing that, we like, yo, man, we could have been able to establish, grocery stores in every city. It was deep in Chicago. There's a couple of Muhammad Eats and stuff like that. They had a Tatari building, and a lot of the ministers would place Tatari homes, mansions, and shit like that when they're called Tatari. But in this day and age, Washington, D.C. is deep in the NOI. A lot of cities are. L.A., it's a lot of cities, man. So you got to look at this, as far as like establish some type of, you can say sovereignty, but to a point where it's like, yo, man, I got my whole situation, I'm holding it down like this. We're gonna operate in these lines. Y'all gonna do this. I got this money going back and forth. Y'all see this shit, man? I'm gonna put on the video. I got a little thug right here too. What's up, man? He just come out of nowhere. The birds over here like, okay, so we got a crowd, man. It's my little crowd right now. We got the animals and the apes. Okay. Anyways, though, man. So if we was really talking about business and true business, we would have been already wrote up a vision and mission statement, which is you dealing with business. You have a site that you see what you're going to accomplish in a certain amount of time. Then you have a SWOT analysis, which is your strength, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Nobody never came up and said and spoke on any of those things. Like, what is our strength as a nation that's coming together as a million motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? At least 1,000 of those millions is at least a millionaire or a billionaire at that stage. So what could we have done to generate more health in the hoods across across America, to bring down the violence and having access to actual truth information, instead of just going through this whole little HBC loop going to college, think you're gonna graduate, you got this good job, da da da. No, you're in the same boat as us. You're working out. You're just a manager at Walmart now. When we could have been managing our mark type shit, you know. So this goes to show you the plan for that, to be able to infiltrate into our finances, man. Even though we had our shit up for out of nowhere, man. Every time we talk shit, you know what I'm saying? When we get to a point where it's like, yo, even though we was put up as collateral in 1933 and 192, House Joint Resolution 192, you know what I'm saying, as collateral, and they made the whole IRA, all that stuff like that, you know. The NOI didn't speak upon it. That came upon right after 1930 and 32. They was able to be established, you know, and that's dealing with some behind the scenes stuff, dealing with the Ottoman Empire and the Turkish. Everybody had dibs in on America at that point. Everybody was coming to America deep at that time, you know, so everybody wanted dibs on the nigga and shit. It was kind of like marketing to the spirit and using religion and chapters of certain religions to make their own ideologies and shit, while telling us said religions is a false thing, and these mothers is making up said religions. Nowhere, yo. I'm looking like, damn. All right, so anyhow, though, we're dealing with business, right? So I mean, I'm not gonna talk to the celebrities because we already know they just signed the oath and shit like that. What about the mothers who came to the hood? Did y'all sign on the oath? You know, Malachi York, we only taught for 33 years. I knew he was going to be teaching for 33 years. And once it was getting close to the time, I was like, oh, yeah, you know, we got questions. And who was he marketing to? The nation of gods and earths, who were basically saying, yo, the black man is God. We God. We're not talking about, you know, why being a righteous Muslim and things of that nature. We know the body is the Muslim. That's the body. It's getting controlled by the intellect. You know, we don't understand that. We had to take it a step further because things were getting created, you know, organically from us. And it wasn't coming out of, like, you know, inorganic where they was trying to place us in certain sections and shit. It was actually just born in this just natural thinking, being in tune with the elements, what's going on and the signs of the times, as it should be. And so when you got, man, like I say, it's almost a shame to get a million niggas together. You ain't had no vision and mission statement. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame. I'm like, God damn, you got that many people together, and nobody formed. You know, NBA was off the chain at that time. They had Michael Jordan. I think he was retired at that time. He could have did something, you know, because it was getting a little bored around that time. Could have made your own league up. But only a few of us can do that. That's because it was allowed. These are high slave marketing things we got going on with us, man. And with the false prophets, it's best for us to leave them alone at this stage in our development, because they act like they can't be touched, man. Once we let them go, man, we'll see. You know, for one, they never came with no land. You know, never went to go study and say, yo, man, we can get 36,000 now. We can get 40 acres over here in Arizona, in the north or south or whatever. Boom, 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 and build our shit over there and have our grocery stores. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, how come drug dealers can do something with the shit that they done make? They know they going through something. They know we went through where we had to sacrifice our, you know, family and shit in order to make things happen. We was in a custody personality. The drug dealer was only 17, 18 years old. That's what most forget. You forget mine wasn't like 30 years old type shit, man. 40 years old selling drugs and shit. We were young. We didn't know what to do with no money. We didn't know how to invest it into the neighborhood. We didn't know how to get little candy stores and beeper shops and maybe cut some hair. But on a big level like this, well, we need grocery stores, man. We need grocery stores. You need your own automobiles. You know, you need your own sciences. You know, when you get to a point like that, you can talk for 100 years and you haven't developed your own scientists, your own car to trade amongst another individual, because we don't have no resources to set for us. We're our own resource. Peace. What's happening? That's Swift. He's just trying to get something. What's up, man? You gonna come through? Anyhow, so yeah, is this third eye atlas? At the mothership, because there's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of us have been talking a lot of shit for some years, man. At least damn near 100 years. You gotta look at it. The more science still been around for 100 years already. People still talking. Nobody got no land, no cyber land over there. I haven't bought a more science temple apple yet. Everybody's gonna have a year and a half under that belt before they even attempt. going to want to put our energy forth for something that we know we're going to see the fruition thereof, you know? Because more than happened in the last 8 years from Hawa's babies or the Most High's Enemy's babies revealing certain things and putting it together through the information that was revealed on the internet, even though it could be biased, but it just so happened to be our energies put it together. More than got revealed in the last 8 years than the false prophets that came out in the last 100 years. I'm talking about even with all the books that Malachi York wrote, you know, there's some people who still want to keep them up there. And it's like, okay, if you're right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And still, I still have to cultivate that connection with the Creator in my heart. My heart is not a fucking pump. And if they said it was a pump, any of the false prophets, they know they're goddamn gonna lie, because it's a vortex. It's not no pump, it don't pump blood. So, and they should have told us that, but they didn't. They too busy telling us about ships coming, crashing into planets, that when the Copernicus model, the planet Meldag and turn into the whatever, man, that atmosphere, astrofield, whatever the fuck they saying, G. It was to take you away from the knowledge of yourself, G. The knowledge of who you truly are. You know, now we got a lot of Israelites in the corner. Now, were they given, you know, a chapter, you know? And I'm not really judging them too tough. They have grocery stores. You know, I done went into the grocery store and had vegan, no nothing, all kosher type shit up in there. You know, I got some of the best what did I have up in there? Bean pies, not bean pies, but all of the little Mediterranean type things. Some good stuff, man. I know it was vegan. It was a long time ago in DC. And you know, they had their own grocery store. This is wrapped up and everything. So I appreciate that. But you gotta understand, a lot of the science that came along with that, you know, it was revealed to us so they can keep control and tabs on us. But now it's like, yo, we just go ahead and just X out the middleman, the false prophets. I'm talking about Malachi York, because they trying to make a comeback, man. Through these little dudes on the internet they're like little agents. They trying to say, oh, Malachi said this years ago. I remember I came up when Malachi York came out. I'm already know he came out through different stages, and he was just like just a little bit too late every time to explain something like he came out with it. Kind of like how Phil Valentine is. And I like Phil Valentine, but I noticed the type of vibe, I noticed the type of energy that Phil was, you know. He was just enough to wait to see what was about to be revealed next week. He was like, I was in it, and brother, I was on into the triple stages of darkness. If you rub one color together for too long, it's gonna turn dark and black any goddamn way. Shit, even if it's fucking yellow, it's gonna get dark. If you rub it together too much, keep on making it darker and darker and layering it up. So, regardless of whom or what, man, none of these false prophets did nothing. I remember seeing them on Phil Donahue's, and I forget, Phil Donahue's show back in the day. I think his name was Phil or Donna. I know it was the Donahue show. All these conscious leaders and actors. If you look back at it now, you see these are actors in the crowds asking the questions. So it's like they was already setting the shit up. They don't want you to have no goddamn wealth. They just wanted to be in tune with their own wealth. So they signed that contract. And you know these motherfuckers finna collect on their ass. You know what I'm saying? They finna collect on their ass, man. All of them. All the stars is fall. We don't need none of their help, G. If you want to be a silent investor, investing in the blessed, then yo, do that. But if not, just don't be about your business, man. We're not even supporting no type of celebrity, type of anything no more. Too tough. I don't even know no rappers no more. You know what I'm saying? I really don't care. If you cold, I know some of the cold in the underground. Other than that, you know, like you know, Coach Contra, man. You know what I'm saying? They cold. A couple, you know, anybody who's severely or superbly talented in their what they got. You know what I'm saying? If they can play guitar good. There's a brother named Maurice. He's a country singer. He's cold. He's a brother. Like, so I'm holding ones like that. Bro, 718. You know what I'm saying? I call him the God Knowledge Bill. He hit the flute real good. We're gonna put him on, man. Our brothers, man. It's the new age, man. Like I say, anything that don't promote spiritual expression, like the NOI doesn't promote it, because dancing and expression to get in tune with the all spirit, it's not for us. Couldn't even come up with nothing to make no business, to make us, to generate wealth in the hood. Even having hospitals and shit. We don't call them hospitals, because that's a hospice. Pardon me, I ain't mean to do that. You know, that's a hospice, a place waiting for you to die and shit. You know, we're having health and wellness centers that's not given to us through the county and shit. You know, we ain't got to sign over no rights to get people coming to there and get them to sign their names so we can get funding from the government or the county or whatever. Even though we ain't helping these motherfuckers, we're just getting money and splitting that shit amongst each other. Once we keep it in-house type shit. So that's what they've been doing for the last some years, man. That's why we change it up. It takes celibacy, man, to change it up. Once we change it up, we in the game, you know. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to finish it on up and get ready to get up out of there. I just wanted to show the glory of